What is up, guys? Today we're going to do a production walkthrough of Everbee from last week's Sunday service live stream. Check it out. So, my church in New Jersey, 217 Church, we did Everbee as part of our set this past Sunday. I wanted to do a quick production walkthrough and kind of walk you guys through my thought process when producing and mixing this song. So, if you're at all familiar with the song Everbee, it starts with a reverse guitar swelling sound at the intro of the song before it hits the intro. So I tried to replicate that. I just took a quick part of the main intro guitar lick, which is this. And I just took that and copied it over here and then reversed it. So you can see I dragged it down here, and then here in region, I hit reverse. And then I copy and pasted a couple times, crossfade them together, and faded it in like this, so that the intro sounds like this. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, so that's what I did for the intro, accompanied by my pad that's fading in at the same time, so that the guitar wouldn't be too exposed all by itself. Have that pad fade in at the same time, which sounds like this. Just having those two combined just made it a really cool worshipy intro moment. So that's what I did for going into the intro. Then from there, we're just playing the intro pretty much as written in the original track. It's one of my favorite guitar riffs of all time. I think it's really classy. Like, it's simple, but like it's also kind of hard to execute at the same time to keep all the strings ringing. I think it's a really cool lick. I actually played on this, so the intro lick kind of sounds like this. Yeah, I just think it's really awesome. But yeah, so we pretty much did the intro as written. As far as the percussion that we used for this, I have a shaker here. Nice and buried. And then, so the shaker, and then my little perk folder here. I believe I'm just doing kick, snare, and tamb. So I'm using like an 808 kick. So here. With the shaker. But yeah, I think that's super dope. And so that's all the perk I'm doing for the intro. It's kind of limited, but as you can hear, if I play with everything together, you can tell it's super effective, even though it's really simple. So take another listen. So yeah, that's what I'm doing as far as percussion for the intro. I think the last kind of really interesting thing I did for this intro are those oohs. Oh, right here. That just adds a whole other level of just really dope, like electronic type stuff. As you can hear, it's not much of an O. If I take all of this processing off of here, you'll hear what the sample actually sounds like, which I actually recorded right here in my bedroom. So take a listen to this. So that's what the sample sounds like. And if you want to hear what the sample that I actually tracked sounds like, it's right here. This is what it sounds like. It's just a simple, and what I did is I dragged that into Quick Sampler in Logic, dragged it right into here, and then I created a loop feature here so that I could hold the note for infinity if I wanted to, so that I could have those oohs go as long as I need them. Did a little bit of editing there, but literally that's all I did in this quick sampler. And then if I just solo my voice over here and solo the oohs, all the processing I did to achieve that is this free Valhalla supermassive verb, which is just a super dope spacey verb. Let me add that in. So you can hear that warp and modulation in the verb. That is a sound that I've been like trying to achieve for so long, and just to have it been available out there free this entire time, I really highly suggest everyone has the Valhalla supermassive verb. It's super good. Next up is a quick compressor, because compressing and adding like any type of saturation after reverb is just something that sounds super cool. So I'm just compressing it a little bit to make everything more even. Super subtle, not much going on. So that's what I'm doing there. And then the last thing is I added a chorus. This is also free. Yes, it is. The Tal Chorus LX. It looks like I'm just using the default settings, except I brought down the dry wet knob a little bit. But yeah, that's just adding a little bit of widening to it. So if I play it again. Adds like a cool warble wide effect to it. So if I unsolo it and put in context with everything, it's just super, super dope. Here you go. It is really loud. If I bury it a little bit, there you go. So you can hear, as long as I'm not soloing it, it actually sounds like oohs and stuff, like a vocal is actually singing. Kind of staying on the path of MIDI and software instruments, all I'm doing in this song are using 3 other keyboard sounds. First, I'm using a piano from Contact, actually. Comes with our Berkeley bundle. The Giant. This thing does a super incredible job at achieving a soft worship piano. As you can see, my tone is very far down, and using a bit of the space here, large hall, and not really doing much EQ, just getting rid of a little bit of lows. That piano sounds like this. I think it's a really, really good piano. Check this out. And then I'm also using this sweeps pad. So that's a super dope pad. And then this last sound I'm using is a Labs plugin. It's called the Tank Piano. This is also free, so feel free to pick that up. I named it the Soft Ostinato after I put some processing. This is what that sounds like. I'm just using that to double the guitar part in the bridge so that it wasn't too exposed, and it would kind of add another layer. So those together sounds like this. So that's a super cool effect. All I'm adding to the original sound is this replica plugin that it basically does a similar thing to the Valhalla verb. It basically just adds some nice diffused modulated reverb and delay to the signal. And then I'm just cutting a bunch of lows because I didn't want it to get in the way of the bass or anything. So that's what I'm doing as far as keyboard sounds. But yeah, all my electric guitar sounds for the past, 6 months, all of the tone has been coming from the HX Stomp from line 6. I created my own worship guitar patch, and that's what I've been using mainly. As far as guitars, do a little bit of EQ, a little bit of high and low cuts, a little bit of mid carving, and then just some subtle, super subtle 1176 compression. But that's it for guitar stuff. It's really in the box for the Line 6. As far as any other perk sounds, I just do the intro here. I add that percussion here. And all my perk is in orange, as you can see. And then here again in the song, we do the intro again. So I just copy and pasted half of the perk over here like this. Like that. And then looks like we have a tambourine loop, for the chorus and the bridge over here. Super subtle, but I just wanted a bit more of a timekeeping tam thing. The last percussion is kind of like a reverse boom and a boom over at the last chorus, just to have a little bit of a build up. So here's what these sound like. And it's why I sing your praise. Let me solo them real quick so you can hear. But yeah, just a super cool impact sound, so the chorus would hit really hard. That's literally all it is. And then as far as drums, the drummer Steven sent me MIDI information for the drums, so I could kind of choose my own sounds. I use just built-in Logic drum kits, except I sample the kick and the snare with Upper Room Sebastian samples. Highly recommend. For this first pre-chorus here, there was just the regular drums that I kind of wanted to smash and have like a lo-fi effect. So I layered in on top of the original drum track right here. I copied and pasted it down and used a drum crush effect. So here's what that sounds like. Yeah. That's super cool, especially since it makes that whoa, voice crack. Yeah, it's super cool, especially since it makes that snare reverb really last really long. Super cool. And I just layered it over the original because I didn't want it to be too smashed in comparison to in the future what the regular drums are going to be sounding like. Later on, if we go to like the chorus or something, here's what the drums actually sound like. But yeah, I really love these. If I go to the kick here, this Upper Room kick sound is super, super awesome. I highly recommend. And the snare, Upper Room snare sample, super good. And then just a little bit of EQing afterwards. Add a lot of 200 to your snare. I always do that. Super good. Always do that. And so that's what I'm doing for the drums. As far as my vocal chain, I keep it pretty straightforward with any vocal tracks I'm doing. Start with a little SSL, a little bit of a high pass, taking out a little bit of the harsh upper mid-range 1.5K, 2K, and bumping a little resonance depending on what type of microphone they're using and anything like that. Next, waves tune, staple and all the stuff I do. CLA 2A, which let's see how much compression we're doing. Super subtle. I don't want to smash this one too hard, but it adds a nice warm sound. It's great on vocals. I highly recommend. And then the CLA 76. So on the loudest part, we're doing -5 dB of gain reduction. So that's pretty standard of what I like to do. Then we're using the C6 multi-band compressor. A little bit of side Q, adding a little bit of air, a little bit of mids, and then de-essing. So that's what I'm doing for vocals, and I send it to a reverb and delay. And then I send, if I'm using multiple vocals, I'll send them all to a vocals submix, which let's see how much we're compressing here. Yeah, so another about 5 dB gain reduction. That's why I'm being pretty light on the compressors that are actually on the channel strip, because I know I'm doing another 5-ish dB later on in those final ones. Yeah, maybe I'll do another video on my mastering chain another time, but that gets pretty involved, so I'll save that for another video. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of walk through what I did for this past Sunday's Everbee. I thought it turned out really well. And yeah, so if you have any questions about anything I've talked about, I know I kind of went quick, feel free to leave them in the comments, like the video, subscribe, it would mean a whole lot. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See you.